빛내세 자유천이고 숭고한 하늘 빛깔 순결의 백합 상하고 빛난 정신 이어가도다 오대양 육대조와 천주까지도 억만세태 평성대 길이 빛내세 평화천이고 순정의 기쁨이 떠 천년한 날에 영생의 이상향을 나타내도다 고대양 육대조와 천주까지도 억만세태 평성대 길이 빛내세 통일천이고 사대절 휘날리는 천일국 깃발 천진 참부모님 소망하도다 고대양 육대조와 천주까지도 억만세태 평성대 길이 빛내세 행복천이고
Today is the 14th day of the 4th month in the 9th year of Chanelguk, May 25, 2021. To begin our day, let's offer our respect and gratitude to our Heavenly Parent and true parents of heaven, earth, and all humankind. 천지인 참 부모님께 경배. 바로 let us recite 가정맹세.
가정맹세 1. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 본향 땅을 찾아 본연의 창조 이상인 지상천국과 천상천국을 창건할 것을 맹세하나이다. 2. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님을 모시어 천주의 대표적 가정이 되며 중심적 가정이 되어 가정에서는 효자, 국가에서는 충신, 세계에서는 성인, 천주에서는 성자의 가정의 도리를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 3. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 4대 심정권과 3대 왕권과 황족권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 4. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님의 창조 이상인 천주 대가족을 형성하여 자유와 평화와 통일과 행복의 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 5. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 매일 주체적 천상세계와 대상적 지상세계의 통일을 향해 전진적 발전을 촉진화할 것을 맹세하나이다. 6. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님의 대신 가정으로서 천운을 움직이는 가정이 되어 하늘의 축복을 주변에 연결시키는 가정을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 7. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 본연의 혈통과 연결된 위하는 생활을 통하여 심정 문화세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 8. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 천일국 시대를 맞이하여 절대 신앙, 절대 사랑, 절대 복종으로 신인의 일체 이상을 이루어 지상 천국과 천상 천국의 해방권과 석방권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
To lead our opening prayer, may I call on our Regional Director, Dr. Leopoldo Uba.
Let us pray. Our loving Heavenly Parent and beloved true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind, we would like to begin this day together with you. Thank you, Heavenly Parent, for gathering us here in this virtual room as brothers and sisters, centering on our national leader in the Philippines and centering on our beloved true mother. I pray, Heavenly Parent, for the protection of our beloved true mother and all our leaders. Bless their families and all people, especially those who are always exposed in the frontline mission. We are aware, Heavenly Parent, that we are in this transition period of the providence, transforming this fallen world into your ideal kingdom. And we know that it's not an easy task, but I'll pray, Father, that we could be able to really gather our hearts together to try to work for the advancement of your providence. Heavenly Parent, thank you so much for all the foundations that our beloved true parents have laid before us, especially for the investment of love of our beloved true Father before he went to the spirit world. Thank you, Heavenly Parent, for the leadership of our beloved true mother today, her love and devotion, the wisdom that she shared with us, especially in these difficult times of our life due to the pandemic. I'll pray that all of us that are gathered here can offer our tune song together as one family, centering on your will, Heavenly Parent. And that may we could be able to determine ourselves to restore this world together with our true mother. Please let us feel today your heart and longing. And thank you for all the blessings, Father, and the protections that you are giving to its family and to all the people out there. Today, please use our national leader to convey your message of truth and love that could serve as our spiritual nourishment as we welcome this beautiful day with a grateful heart. Thank you, Heavenly Parent and true parents. I would like to report this prayer to you together with all my brothers and sisters. In our name, Paul and Jiomi Uba, a Chonbo couple of the Blessed Center families, Adieu.
Jew. And now, brother and sister, let's offer our individual prayer. And now, brother and sister, let's offer our morning greetings to our Heavenly Parent and true parents. Good morning, Heavenly Parents. Good morning, true parents. Good morning, brothers and sisters. Good morning po sa ating lahat. And now, to lead our Hondoki reading, may I call on our second generation from Palawan, Miss Jinyong Liti Mokobo.
Okay, dito na lang kaya tayo. Um, Good morning. Mother of Peace. Hmm. Walang- Mother of Peace, a memoir by Hak Jahanun. Chapter 2. I came into this world as the only begotten daughter. One cannot help but wonder why God allowed these people to suffer such great hardships. I would believe it was to prepare people to whom he could entrust a great mission. We learn from the Bible that God's chosen people always endure great adversity. On the foundation of Noah, Abraham, and other providential figures, God prepared the people of Israel as the ones to whom he could send the Messiah, Jesus Christ. Facing rejection, God had to allow Jesus to suffer great trials and hardships, and to finally offer his life on the cross. 2,000 years later, God chose the Korean people and entrusted to them his only begotten son and only begotten daughter, the ones who can receive God's first love. God needed a man and a woman who can endure suffering and rejection while continuing to forgive and love all people, thus revealing God's heart of parental love. So too, God needed a nation capable of enduring suffering for the sake of all nations. God prepared the Korean people for this. Many people have suffered and disappeared from history, but the Koreans endured. Thus, God entrusted these people with a noble mission. As a hen embraces her brood, when I was born, earth was groaning with anguish as a battleground in which people shed each other's blood. People dwelled in extreme confusion and darkness, and heartlessly exploited each other. As part of this wretched mosaic, the Korean peninsula suffered indescribable torment under Japanese occupation that lasted 40 years from 1905. Ulsa Nungyak, a protectorate treaty between Korea and Japan, until our liberation in 1945. I was born during the period of oppression. I was born in 1943 in Anju, South Pyongan province of what is now North Korea. At 4:30 a.m. on February 10 of the solar calendar, and on the sixth day of the first lunar month of that year. I remember clearly that the address of my home, 26 Sineri Anju Up, which has been renamed Chilsongdong, in what is now the city of Anju. My home was not far from the center of the village, and the surrounding neighborhood had a very warm and cozy feeling, as if we were chicks cuddled under a mother hen. Unlike the thatched roof houses nearby. My house has tile roof and a big front porch. Behind it arose a small verdant hill covered with a chestnut and a pine tree. Beautiful flowers bloomed and colorful leaves fell with the rhythm of the seasons, and I heard every kind of bird singing and chirping together. When spring warmed the earth, yellow forest ties smiled brightly between the fences, and azaleas bloomed red on the hill. A small stream flowed through our village, and except when it froze solid in midwinter, I could always hear the laughing sound of the water. I grew up enjoying the happy sounds of the birds and the stream, as if they were a choir of nature. Even now, thinking of life in my hometown is like snuggling into a cozy and heartwarming mother's embrace. This memory brings tears to my eyes. Between our house and the hill, we had a small cornfield. When the corn was ripe, the husk would crack and yellow kernels of corn would appear through the long, silky hair. My mother would boil the ripened corn, put a generous numbers of cobs in a bamboo basket, and call our neighbors to come and eat. They would come into our house through the gate built from sticks, sit in a circle on a porch, and eat cobs of corn with us. I remember wondering why their faces did not look very bright, even though they were gratefully eating a delicious meal. Thinking about it years later, I realized these people were impoverished due to the severe exploitation of the occupying government. I would squeeze in between the grown-ups and try to eat the kernels off a small cob of corn. But as a small child, I was never successful. Noticing me, my mother would smile gently, break off some yellow kernels from her cob, and put them into my mouth. I remember the sweet corn kernels rolling around in my mouth as if it were yesterday. The Dali Bridge legend. Mother, why is where we lived called Pyongan Province? I was full of curiosity, and whenever I had a question about something, I would run to my mother and ask her for the answer. Every time my mother responded kindly, "Well, dear," she replied, "it is called that because the Pyong part is the first character of the Pyongyang, and then the An part is the first character of Anju. Why do they take one character from each name?" I asked. It's because both of them are big districts, she said. Over the time, Andrew had grown into a large town. It was surrounded by expansive plains that were ideal for farming, and there was normally plenty to eat. Andrew.
Ju. Thank you so much po, Ate Jinyong. And now, to share the 10 points of gratitude, may I call on our Bliss family, Mrs. Cosway Concepcion.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes po, yes.
Hi. Good morning, Heavenly Parents and True Parents, and National President Leo Angelo, and regional leaders, and all of the blessed members. This time I'm sharing 10 points of my appreciation heart. Number one, I grateful of Heavenly Parents. When I met this movement, 2007, then after that, every time Heavenly Parents guiding us until now. Even many difficult situations, sometimes I cannot overcome my fallen nature or something, but always Heavenly Parents giving some guidance, and also especially I'm praying deeply. The Heavenly Parents always respond my question, my sharing my heart. That's why I cannot uh, skip my providence. Then also uh, uh, only my point is I want to support. I want to help Heavenly Parents providence. Then number two, I appreciate my national president. Always he's giving, he's doing very well, and he's doing the kondoke. That is also very, it's not easy to do like that. But every day giving guidance, and through hondoke, through readings, sometimes my understanding also lacking, then my interpretation is lacking, but through explanation, sharing his heart, then I can understand more deeply. Then so that I can apply in my daily life. The number three, also the previous leader, Dr. Young, giving so many guidance, especially for me. Before my husband was Dr. Young's driver. Then sometimes always during his driving. Dr. Young giving guidance, then also sharing that something, my husband sharing something, then I realize something always. In number three, number four, I want to appreciate our regional leader in Kobe, that Kuya Paul, and also at the Jeremy. They call us in to Palawan. So many times at the Jeremy and Kuya Paul call me when I stay in Manila. Then, especially my husband Joel is my at the Jeremy is a spiritual son. Then always they are praying for us. Then what is good way for us, they are thinking about that. Then always giving guidance. Even now the something difficulties sharing my heart, then they are giving guidance. Then even teacher me what in the spiritual world, but still she is doing well, I feel. Then giving some guidance, there's some idea, of course not only teacher me, the heavenly parents, they are giving guidance us. Then number five, I appreciate all of our mobilizer in Palawan. Most of them the pastor. Then they receive blessing here. Then of course the education is still something lacking, but the point is they are always willing to support heavenly parent providence. That is very grateful. Then they through them, especially this time I cannot go front line because of my work, but through them I receive many beautiful testimony, so that then I can pray more. Then spiritually I can support more than anyway even difficult situation, if I have chance to go there, I want to go there. Then my heart, they can always they bring my heart. Thank you so much. Then number 6, I want to appreciate my husband. And he's doing very well. Then always he's doing he's working as a full-time staff. Then even sometimes very difficult, but always working hard. Hi, number 7. I'm appreciate my spiritual mother. My spiritual mother now in Korea. Still, we are contacting. Then sometimes sharing my our heart. Then encourage each other. Then number 8, I appreciate my especially the Japanese sisters in the Philippines. Always contacting, then sharing something. Then especially here in Palawan, we have 3 Japanese sisters. We made Trinity. Then always sharing, they always encourage me how to do our activity, our providence, that we can share everything. Then number 9, I appreciate my physical parents. Then even they don't understand very well, but always they are supporting us. Then they are concerned to us each other. Then they support us. And number 10, I appreciate my work. Now I'm working as Japanese teachers, but through working through Japanese teacher, I can realize something. I need to learn more Philippine culture and the Japanese culture. Then how can I unite to centering on true parents and heavenly parents? I can more the meditation, then realize something. Then, okay, that's all. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much po, Ate Kosue. So, Ate Kosue po is the wife of our provincial director here in Palawan, very hardworking director. So, thank you so much po again, Ate Kosue. And now po, we are going to hear offering song from Bishop Ramil Gerner and family.
For it was the led me to the fire in darkness night. You are close like no other. I know you as a father. I know you as a friend, and I will sing in the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Your goodness is running after me. Your goodness is running after me. My life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after me. All my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I will sing of the goodness of God.
Thank you so much, Gerner family. Thank you so much for the wonderful voice and wonderful song. And now, brothers and sisters, to receive our internal guidance, may I call on our beloved national leader, Reverend Leo Angelo T. Halog. Let's give a round of applause.
Thank you very much to our moderator, Brother Gary. First, I would like to thank our Heavenly Parents and True Parents. Good morning, Heavenly Parents and True Parents. Good morning to all our beloved Chombo families, our Blasandal families, beloved brothers and sisters. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Yes, I'm really inspired with the Chonbo family from Palawan, the family of Bishop Ramil, for offering that really wonderful song. Maraming salamat po, Bishop, your whole family, offering your dedication to Heavenly Parents and True Parents. Maraming salamat po. And of course to the entire Region 4, Region 4B, for hosting today's morning devotion, to the regional leader, Dr. Paul Uba. Maraming salamat po for your heartfelt prayer today. And also for the inspiring 10 points of appreciation of our sister Kasue. Thank you so much, Kasue-san. Yeah, so welcome once again to all our beloved brothers and sisters. Today is our 107th day of morning devotion. So soon we will be completing like 340 days condition. So I'm really happy that we can come together every morning and study together True Parents' words. So this morning I would like to share this topic entitled The Life of a True Patriot and a Filial Child. So already we learned from True Parents our main purpose, why we were created by Heavenly Parent. We need to really become, filial children of our Heavenly Parent. So first we need to become really also become patriot we become saints, and then eventually we need to really become filial, divine children of our heavenly parents and true parents. So how can we really live such a life of becoming a true patriot and a true child of heavenly parent? That's a study from true parents. True father said, you must become families who can settle at the position of high noon. You must become families who can settle at the position of high noon, where no shadow is cast. The Garden of Eden was a place of true love without any shadows. In love, there are no shadows. That is why everything in the world wants to come and be in that place. In the position of high noon, no one asserts his or herself. It is the place of absolute faith, absolute love, and absolute obedience. There's no assertion of self. This is what happens to everyone in the presence of true love. Adam's family must be established as family without shadows. Then from it will emerge Adam's tribe, Adam's people, Adam's nation, and Adam's world. So, as we know, through Father, even this is year 2000. Actually, Father started to really talk about living a life of high noon settlement. Even earlier from this, through Father's talking about we should really live a life of high noon. So Father's explaining that when we live a life of high noon, there is no shadows. There's no shadows cast, like 12 o'clock when the sun is in the middle. So Father is telling us to live such a life with a clear conscience, Father is saying. So in the position of high noon, no one asserts his or herself. No one, is just very arrogantly, emphasizing like this, just focus on oneself. No, there's no selfishness. Actually, when we live in high noon settlement, so Father is saying it is the place of absolute faith, absolute love, and absolute obedience. There's no assertion of self. So this is what happens to everyone in the presence of true love. So when we live our life centering on true love, naturally we will going to live, in the position of high noon, where there's no shadows cast. So Father is telling us that our families should become, such families that can really live without any shadow, a life with a clear conscience. So recently, True Mother is talking about, this time, especially the True Mother established Heavenly Parents Holy Community, right? So we really need to live such a community. In the past, there are many difficulties in the past. That's why now True Mother is starting a new age for us. So what we are learning, what True Parents is teaching, we have to really embody, starting in our own families and then in our own community, right? So really, how to try to practice really live for the sake of others. How to slowly eliminate selfishness in our own self and really live a life of absolute faith, absolute love, and absolute obedience. Raju? So this is what Father is talking about this time. So how can our families live such a life that there's no shadows, right? Really, everything should be clear from our conscience, following the three mandate of our Heavenly Parent, our true parents, right? We shouldn't, we shouldn't stain our blood lineage. We shouldn't hurt other people's hearts. And then we shouldn't misuse public funds. So these three major, heavenly mandate that human beings should live their life, right? That's why we really need to, shed our old way of life. That's why True Mother now is telling us, need to put new wine into new wine skin. So, kailangan na natin magkaroon ng bagong mindset, right? The life that we are practicing before, we have to completely eliminate and really live a new life, especially in this Heavenly Parents Holy Community. We have to really work together as one, right? Instead of looking of other people's lapses and difficulties, how can we cover up? How can we help them in our own community? If we cannot do this in our own community, Kingdom of Heaven will just be a concept. It will never happen. That's why this time, whether we, all brothers and sisters this time, how long we have been in the church, we are young, this is now the time where we have to really practice in our daily life. right? We have to really collaborate and work together as one. This is the only way for us to establish kingdom of heaven. Aju? So we need to become such families that can really live in the position of high noon. So Father is telling us today. So Father said there must be a place of Sabbath. So there must be a place of Sabbath without shadows, where God can come and freely settle anytime He likes, day or night. Establishing such a place is God's ideal of creation. Therefore, the reason we live as we do, seeking that place, is to attend God as our eternal Father, from the individual level all the way up, even in the heavenly world, and to become families of filial sons and daughters, patriotic men and women, saintly couples and divine sons and daughters. Through such families, God can freely travel anywhere He wants. So, how can God, can be free? Until this time, still heavenly parents is not free. When such families were created, then that's the only time that God can be free. So there must be a place of Sabbath, Father is telling us, without shadows, where God can come and freely settle anytime He likes, day or night. That's why where God can come. Actually, in our families, that's why we need to make our families a place, where God can come anytime. A family that really lives a life without shadows. Wala tayong tinatapakan na tao, wala tayong sinasaktan na tao, wala tayong inaagrabyado na tao. We live our life in accordance to Heavenly Parents' will. We are trying our best. We have to try our best, right? That's why this time, that's why really our old practice that, still sometimes our fallen nature is the ones, minsan mga chismis, naniniwala pa rin tayo kung ano-ano, ganitong mga bagay. We have to really completely eliminate all these things. Right? This is now the time that we have to really live the true life of true brothers and sisters. We shouldn't listen of anything, but we have to, really deal with each other in truthfully as brothers and sisters. Without creating this kind of community. Still, what will going to happen? The providence will be prolonged. So we need to create that kind of community, starting in our own families, that God can be free. In our community, where we practice absolute faith, absolute love, and absolute obedience, then God can be free, right? God can come anytime He wants, right? So establishing such a place is God's ideal of creation. So if Adam and Eve didn't fall, this world we are living in, this should be a place, originally, that God originally desires, right? But because of the fall of our first human ancestors, human beings became fallen human beings. That's why we need the Messiah, we need true parents, for us to eliminate our original sin, and then completely live, our life absolutely following our true parents, and slowly eliminating our fallen natures, and really, cleanse our hearts, our mind, right? And really move towards, perfecting our character. And then together with our family, our community. Then once we create that kind of, environment, then Heavenly Parents can come anytime He wants. Aju? So the place of settlement at high noon must come. So the kingdom of heaven on earth and the kingdom of heaven in heaven will be realized when the world without any shadow is connected to heaven and earth. This world is where God can travel freely back and forth, visit anyone, from the youngest family to countless generations of our ancestors, all at once, and reach heaven and earth in all four directions, as He pleases. That is why the place of settlement at high noon, where no shadow is cast, must come. So that's why Father said, no matter what, this place of settlement at high noon, where no shadow is cast, must come. Why? Because the kingdom of heaven on earth and the kingdom of heaven in heaven will only be realized when the world without any shadow is connected to heaven and earth. So without living such a life, kingdom of heaven will not be realized. Heaven and earth will not become one. That's why we are all called by Heavenly Parent, right? That's why our community now, we need to really build such community. Of course, it's starting in us as individual and then in our own families. Kaya nga po, talaga ngayon, we have to really have different mindset. If we still carry the same mindset, especially in the times of the indemnity era,
we can never build kingdom of heaven. Kaya nga po ngayon, talagang in-emphasize ni True Mother. We need to have different concept na po talaga ngayon. Right? Really need to put new wine into new wineskins. So how can we really unite together and really respect each other and really love each other truly? Hindi lang kapag, sometimes when we are together like we are, but still, behind is still many things happening. We have to completely change these ways. Right? Otherwise, we cannot really build kingdom of heaven. Aju? That's why heaven and earth cannot become one. Father said, if we still, keep on living that kind of life. So that is why the place of settlement at high noon, Father said, where no shadow is cast must come. So absolutely, this should come. And who will going to bring this into reality? It is us. It is us, right? We, the Chonbu families, blessed families, brothers and sisters, living in this most important time in the providence. That will only happen once. It will never happen again in the future. Right? Only this time. Also, this time never happened in the past. Right? How important this is. So we shouldn't miss. Right? So we have to cope up of how Heavenly Parents wanted us to live our life. Right? So True Parents is guiding us very clearly. True Mother now is guiding us on earth. Right? Very clearly. So how can we continue to struggle every day to practice it? This is our challenge every day. How to become such people and how to really establish such family. Aju, but absolutely no matter what, Father said, it must come. Otherwise, kingdom of heaven will not be realized. If we cannot live such a life of high noon settlement, kingdom of heaven will not be realized. Aju, that's why no matter what, every day we are trying our best. Aju, so if we really, establish in our own families, then naturally, just time, in the matter of time, kingdom of heaven will surely be realized. Aju? So Father said, you are not to live a life with shadows. You are not to live a life with shadows. Therefore, I proclaim the high noon settlement. It is a marvelous concept. For there to be no shadows, mind and body must be united, and the family must be united as a four-position foundation. If the father did something wrong, he would create a father's shadow. If the mother did something wrong, she would make a mother's shadow. If there were four members in the family and the four could not settle down, then the light would be blocked. No one likes the place of shadows. That is why we must achieve the high noon settlement. There shouldn't be any shadows even after we go to the next world. So, of course, there are many difficulties in the past. Minsan, yung mga ibang tao hindi pa rin makamove on, right? But actually, already, we are really living in a different era. Pero minsan kasi ang mind, hindi pa rin nabago, right? So that's why already, we are living in that different situation now. Kaya nga, Father said now, you are not to live a life with shadows. So already, everything has been, we have been elevated. Ibang era na po talaga tayo ngayon. So ngayong time na to, we have to be very careful talaga sa life na natin. Everything was, given to us. We are now entering in the settlement age, right? So when we hear the word blessed families, then we have to, really try to show what kind of families are truly, blessed families. This is now the era that we have to really show in substance, right? That's why True Mother now is now really not only telling the world, but really showing the world what kind of community is Heavenly Parents Holy Community in the world stage, in the world level, even in the cosmic level, right? So now we need to cope up, all of us, right? So Father said, for there to be no shadows, mind and body must be united, and the family must be united as a four-position foundation. Kaya nga po, unity between mind and body, this is the basic foundation. And then unity within our family, within that four-position foundation. So that's why Father is saying here, if the father now commits mistake, or the mother, or any of the children, then they create shadows for the family, right? Then, if there were four members in the family and the four could not settle down, then the light would be blocked. So if in our own family, if we still, we are committing such mistakes, or, we create shadows in the family, and then what Father is saying, the light will be black. So no one likes the place of shadows. So that is why we must achieve the high noon settlement. There shouldn't be any shadows even after we go to the next world. Kaya nga po ngayon, while we are alive on earth, especially in this most important time, ito po talaga yung time that we have to completely do our best to live a clear life with a clear conscience. Right? Because, sabi ni Father dito, there shouldn't be any shadows even after we go to the next world. As we are, preparing to go to the next world, actually, we have to always think about this. Even though I'm young, even though we are young still, dapat lagi natin iniisip anytime we will go to the spiritual world. So, ibig sabihin, parang life talaga natin should be a life of preparation. Hindi lang po yung matanda na may taning ang buhay ang mag-prepare papuntang spiritual world. Kaya nga po tayo ngayon, so with this guidance of Father, how can we try our life every day to live such a life? This is our preparation so that when we go to the spiritual world, anytime we can be ready to go, right? Especially this time, some people are passing, recently our VIP, Ambassador for Peace Pass, si Attorney Andanar, and then just 2 days ago, our also very, energetic pa, actually yun siya, very, very, very active na IAPD natin, si Father Mercado. So also 2 days ago, he passed to the spiritual world. So, anytime we can go to the spiritual world. Kaya nga, how to really try our best every day to really improve ourselves and really eliminate the unnecessary things in our life and really live a life without shadows. Adju, kaya nga po our life is really preparation. Talagang substantially we really need to prepare because anytime we can go to the spiritual world. We don't know, right? So also in the spiritual world, we really need to have a life without shadows. Adju? So Father said, you must break down the barrier if you are to have high noon settlement. God travels through the vertical line of 8 stages from the shadow-free individual to the shadow-free family, tribe, people, nation, world, cosmos, and God. Can there be any shadow cast on God's love? It is purity itself. That is why everyone wants that purity, even in his or her flesh and blood. No one likes shadows. The shadow is Satan. This is why whenever we do wrong, we tend to cover it up. That is the enemy. That is the barrier. You must break down that barrier if you are to have high noon settlement. I am not saying this just symbolically. It must be done. It must be done. So, we actually, really we can see now the advancements of Providence din ngayon. And then, everything is also really adjusting. Nakita natin, but really in alignment completely to our beloved True Mother, to our regional president, to our vice presidents, right? So in this vertical line, we have to really do our best. So Heavenly Parents, is working through this. So this is where Heavenly Fortune will come. So everybody, single individual families, brothers and sisters, we have difficulties, right? But where is the way to, eliminate these barriers? And then so that we can live such a life. Kaya nga po ngayon, very important. Our alignment, sabi ni True Mother, we need to become like a sunflower, right? That always follows the sun, never fail, absolutely. So our life also, this time especially, this is the most important time that we need to become as absolute as the sunflower. Ito po yung time na yun ngayon, where we have to become more absolute. So through this, we can receive Heavenly Fortune. Then, we can receive help from Heavenly Parent. That's why sometimes our difficulties in life cannot just be solved, with our own power. We need to borrow from Heavenly Parent. We need to borrow from the spiritual world, right? That's why kaya nga rin nililiberate natin ang ancestors natin. We are doing all these things. Because, to eliminate these barriers that blocks us to live such a life, it's not easy to eliminate our fallen natures, right? It's not easy. This is the reality. But no matter what, sabi ni Father, we have to break down anything that blocks us, right? So you must break down that barrier if you are to have the high noon settlement. I am not saying this just symbolically. It must be done. So that's why Father said, it's not just, now we are studying this, live such a life of high noon, but it's not just symbolically and then just by words, but we have to really strive, and it should be done, Father said. Aju? So we have to, Father said, God himself travels through the vertical line of 8 stages, even Heavenly Parent. So we have to follow, from the life of shadow-free individual to the shadow-free family, tribe, people, nation, world, cosmos, and God. So we are going through, the same course, right? As have shown by our beloved true parents to us, substantially. So that's why, without, also borrowing power from Heavenly Parent, from true parents, that's why our absolute alignment is really necessary. We need to really live such a life like a sunflower, right? Follows the sun. Aju? So Father said, we must fulfill our duties as true filial children, true patriots, true saints, and true divine sons and daughters. So in front of the true parents, we must fulfill our duties as true filial children, true patriots, true saints, and true divine sons and daughters. Only then can God's kingship be established. The kingship of the heavenly nation is based on expanding the authority of the sons and daughters who attend the true parents. Once the kingship is established, God will be enthroned and Satan's world will disappear. So Father said, only then can God's kingship be established. When we, absolutely following true parents, in front of our beloved true parents. So our true parents, we absolutely fulfill our duties as filial children. And then through patriots, through saints, and through divine sons and daughters of our heavenly parents. So only then that God's kingship be established. That's why, actually, even, Heavenly Parent, that's why it reached already 6,000 years, how much Heavenly Parents is waiting, because only Heavenly Parents cannot do this. Absolutely, our responsibility is needed. Fulfillment of our responsibility is needed as filial children, as patriots, as saints, and then finally as divine sons and daughters. This is the only time that God's kingship can be established. So the kingship of the heavenly nation is based on expanding authority of the sons and daughters who attend the true parents. That's why we are doing witnessing, we are doing heavenly tribal Messiah. The kingship of heavenly nation, Father said, can only be expanded when sons and daughters that attends true parents also increases. That's why without, kapag tayo lang palagi, kaya nga minomonitor natin yung membership not only in the Philippines, all over the world. We are now checking through our HTM, ngayon with our program na Family Peace Festival, we are honoring our new members. Kaya nga ngayon, this time, the Chonbo families, we have our 43. So, with the guidance also of our leaders, now we need to check with our 430 couples, sa 43 natin, ilan na yung regular members, ilan na yung associate members, ilan na yung registered members. Kasi kung hindi ito nag-i-increase yung regular members, then it's just theory lang yung kingdom of heaven if membership are not increasing. Kaya sabi ni Father dito, the kingship of heavenly nation is based on expanding the authority of sons and daughters who attend the true parents. So, nag-increase yung sons and daughters and then also their authority. Father is saying, the ones that attending true parents. Kaya nga po, chine-check natin yan siya. So, from before, ilan na? Yung naging regular members, naging associate members. We are raising them up so that they can also, live such a life. Without, our HTM members na maging registered regular members, how can they practice the tradition, heavenly tradition that true parents have taught us? Right? Kung yung basic hindi nila magawa. Kaya nga kahit tayo rin ng mga blessed families, minsan because of challenges and difficulties, sometimes we neglect yung mga basic things. How can we practice such a life that heavenly parents demands? Right? The true parents demands. That's the providence demands. Kaya nga tayo, nag-umpisa tayo sa basic. Through this pandemic, we could be able to truly, evaluate yung sarili natin. Through mga songwa na nangyari, we started to reflect. And then we have to really check. No one can tell you that, right? So tayo mismo, makapagsabi, saan na ba ako? When I die, can I go there? Saan ba ako pupunta? So this is now the time for us to evaluate ourselves, right? And really, slowly improve continuously. That's why lahat po tayo this time, this is really great opportunity. It's not that, we are, judging each other. It's not. It's really now time for us, even myself. No one is exempted, right? Time for us to really reflect deeply and try to improve our life, right? As best families. Because also we are raising up people. If we cannot also practice our own, how can we raise up people, right? Even our own children. Kaya nga po, this is now the time. As Chonbo families, blessed all families, really heavenly parents have given us this really amazing and really, unimaginable grace and blessing, especially during this time. When pandemic came, there's a very clear reason why these things came. So this is more spiritual problem actually, right? And then heavenly parents has given chance to people to be able to know heavenly parent. So dahil dito, when we invite people, it's more easier now, right? And then Satan's activity were lessened. Dati, kung ano-anong nakikita natin sa street, nighttime, kung ano-anong mga activities, mga kabataan natin, but because of this, really, we are moving towards settlement. Talaga, we are really moving towards settlement. So that's why Father said, once the kingship is established, God will be enthroned and Satan's world will completely disappear. So this is what we are working for. Our True Mother is investing everything. Heavenly Parents, our True Mother is really establishing now the Holy Temple. That's why yung Chonwon-gong by 2023, right? Heavenly Parent and will going to have this original temple now on earth that is in Chonwon-gong. Heavenly Parent and True Parents will really become completely, one in that holy temple in the most holy land, sa fatherland, sa Korea, by 2023, right? So God's kingship will really be, be seen substantially. And then Satan's world will be completely be eliminated. Aju, this is what True Mother now is really doing. So we are one with our True Mother. Chonbu families, blessed families, brothers and sisters. So this is now the time we have to fulfill our duties. Father said to become a true filial children, true patriots, true saints, and eventually to become true divine sons and daughters of our heavenly parent. Aju, that's why we are really, really grateful to our beloved true parents. So Father said, we need to establish a new tradition with the family at its center. So from now, we need to establish a new tradition with the family at its center, based on the tradition of those who live their lives as patriots, saints, and divine sons and daughters. For this, we need to replace the traditions that existed during the age of indemnity. This is what I'm saying a while ago. So Father said, we need to replace the traditions that existed during the age of indemnity. So kasi minsan yung mind natin ganun pa rin eh. This time, so how can we move forward? So ngayon, we have to replace completely the traditions that existed during that age of indemnity. So this new tradition is what we will follow for eternity in the kingdom of heaven. Centering on the family, we should establish the ways of true filial sons and daughters, true husbands and wives, who are faithful to each other, and true patriots, and prepare the ways of saints and divine sons and daughters. We have to prepare these ways here on earth. So while we are alive on earth, in this most important and precious time, in the providence that will never happen again in the future, only in our time. So this is now the time that completely we have to, bury these old traditions that have existed before in the time of indemnity. Kaya nga po ngayon tayo, Heavenly Parents, Holy Community na. So True Mother really wants to see this community of, filial children attending heaven. That's why True Parents, changed our names. This is not only for, new name. Hindi lang po yun ganon. That's why True Parents, True Mother wanted to see such a family. And then, starting from our own community, then we embrace all people until this world will become one. Right? So, yung individualism na concept before, kaya nga sabi ni Father ngayon, centering on the family. We need to establish a new tradition that the family is at the center. The family is at the center. Right? So, centering on the family, we should establish the ways of true filial sons and daughters, true husbands and wives who are faithful and loyal to each other, true patriots that really loves our nation, Right? So now we are doing a program about this one. This is what's lacking in the Philippines for some Filipinos. Now we are reviving this, right? And then prepare the ways of saints and divine sons and daughters. So we have to prepare these ways here on earth. So while we are alive on earth. So every day, every moment, right? While we are alive on earth, we cannot miss anymore because, we don't know. That's why we need to establish this new tradition, sabi ni Father. So we need to replace na talaga. New wine needs to put into new wine skins. We have to really completely change our concept, right? Kaya nga po ngayon, we have to really deal with each other as real brothers and sisters. We shouldn't listen of mga hearsay, mga kung ano sabi-sabi. If you have some concerns to people, you have to talk to them directly as brothers and sisters, right? And then only through this. So substantially, we have to create this as we expand. Otherwise, if we cannot create in our own community, in our own family, never we can expand. Kaya kahit na parang nag-expand tayo, if we cannot, build, we cannot settle. It's still, really, this is now the time. The time has come. This is not only in the Philippines, but all over the world because of still, our selfish thinking, our individualistic, mind as fallen human beings. Even though we are blessed, even though we are still, so now Heavenly Parents, our true Father, is guiding us. Our true parents continuously. We have to eliminate and replace these old traditions, right? That is still, being practiced in the age of indemnity. So now, completely different era. We are now in the 9th year of Channel Group, right? And then we are now Heavenly Parents Holy Community. So we have to really, become really true people, true sons and daughters, true husbands and wives, true patriots, true saints and true, divine sons and daughters of Heavenly Parents and true parents. Really, we are really, really grateful to our beloved True Mother. We cannot imagine the effort that True Mother is doing and giving, right? For us to, see substantially, right? So we were all really moved by the effort of our true parents. So also, what can we do? What can we contribute as a family, as an individual, as was given this responsibility in this very important time and age? All of us, lahat po tayo, we have a very important role to play. And only if each one of us fulfill that, then Heavenly Parents' dream and desire can be realized. Right? If only each one of us. That's why lahat po tayo, very, very important in the eyes of Heavenly Parent and true parents. Adju, so let's really do our best. Live such a life, right? That Heavenly Parents is really longing for. High noon, life of high noon without any shadows cast, with a life with a clear conscience, right? Let's really try our best. We know it's not easy, but yun nga, as we just unite, unity is really the key. True unity and absolute love, absolute faith, and absolute obedience. So with this, and then with our life of devotion and sincerity, we can eliminate all barriers. Aju, we can overcome any situations, any difficulties, and we can truly become true sons and daughters. We can build really ideal families that can attend heaven, that can really, become an inspiration to our society, to our nation, and to the world. Aju, let's really become such people. Aju, so once again, let's really appreciate our Heavenly Parents and true parents. Thank you so much to our Heavenly Parents and true parents, our true Mother, who is really leading the way substantially on earth. So once again, thank you so much to all our beloved blessed families, brothers and sisters. Let's really have a great day today. May Heavenly Parents' love and blessings be always upon you and your families. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much po, our beloved national leader, for the reminder and for the wonderful words. We hope every one of us will inspired for the words this day or this morning. Thank you so much po once again, our national leader. And now let's proceed po to our reflection. To give his reflection, may I call on our Bishop Pramil Gerner.
Okay, good morning to everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes po.
Um, I was very blessed this morning because of the message that I have heard, I have received from the message of our national leader, Sir L.A. My reflection is that the Rema, the word of God that really strikes me, the word of our heavenly parents through our two parents, is the word that says, the place of settlement at high noon must come. This is very, very important thing that we really need to do our best to contribute in for a world and for all the people, not only 50%, not only 80%, not only 90%, but 100% of the total world population has to really be determined to a settlement of a high known life. That is what we call the absolute salvation. And to do that, we need to live a life without shadow. To have a shadow is like to live a wrong kind of life. So we need to do our best, to give our best. This is my reflection, to educate our people. First, educate ourselves, and then educate our family, and then educate our barangay, then educate, be determined to educate and to make a heavenly parents holy community, make our municipality, and then expand to our province, and then the whole nation. Educate them with the teaching of our true parents that we need to live a life without shadow. That means without doing any sins. So how to do this? We need to break down the barriers if we want to settle down, to make a settlement of a high known life. That is the advice of our two parents and the message of our national leader this morning. So in conclusion, in order for us to really, the heart of our true parents, the heart of our heavenly parents will be happy. We need to be determined to really educate our family, start from our family, and then to our community, and then expand to our nation, and even to our continent, and even to the whole world. Because God, our heavenly parent, don't want only to save certain number of people, but He wants the total salvation. You know, the 7.8 billion people, and not only actually the living nowadays, but even our ancestors. So we need to do also the horizontal and the vertical. That's what we are talking about, the ancestors' liberation, and to make everyone every member of our tribe to make them a Chonbo couple. This is the most effective way of evangelism. I've been a pastor for almost 34 years, but I did not see any strategy that is better than this strategy of our Heavenly Parent. And that strategy is the Chonbo couple strategy. Because, for example, I become a Chonbo couple, having 430 of my vertical and 430 of my horizontal. Then I will encourage my 43 to become a Chonbo couple also. So that is 43 times 430. And then not only my 43, but I will also encourage the whole of my tribe, the 430 couples, to become a Chonbo. Then that means 430 times 430. And then educate these 430 to become filial sons and daughters, to become a people that settles down a high noon life without leaving a shadow. Wow. Oh my goodness. It's really a tremendous and precious strategy to reach out for the whole world salvation. So not only building our little kingdom, but we are really establishing and building the great kingdom of the living God. So this is a real serving God. This is a real biblical theology to reach out for the whole world, and not only for our own denomination, not building our little kingdom, but building the great kingdom of the living God through interreligious harmony and unity. No matter what religion you came from, we need to live a life of settlement of high noon and not living in a shadow, in a sin, living in our fallen nature, but be determined to be nourished and live in righteousness, centering on the family, centering on true parents, centering on our Lord Jesus Christ, and centering on our heavenly parents. And that is my reflection of today, and that is my determination while I'm still living together with my whole family. Thank you so much, Aju and Aju.
Thank you so much po, Bishop Ramiel Gerner, for sharing your hearts this morning. And now let's proceed to our second reflection. May I call on also our Bliss family, Mr. Milicio Carias, for sharing their reflection.
Good morning. Marinig ba?
Opo.
Good morning sa lahat. And good morning to our national leader, Reverend Leo Angelo Halo. I just want to give my small reflection. Yeah, it is really not easy to live in a high noon without shadows. One reason is we are living in this world, which is claimed by Satan and claimed by God. So there is two forces that striking, because we are not yet living in the kingdom of heaven. So it's either we are living in this world that is claimed by God and claimed by Satan. So that's why we have this very great teaching of our true parents. So at this time of or shall I say after the coming of true parents that brought to us this great teaching that we have to follow. So in this way that we can really continue to learn the teaching, apply it in our everyday life, and of course it is not easy, living in a world where it is not yet God's kingdom. So the great teaching of our true parents is the only way that we have to follow by heart. We have to purify our life, our heart through the teaching itself, centering on true parents, because this is where we can get off from the fallen world, or in our fallen nature. So we are really fighting. I myself, in terms of physical and spiritual, we are fighting in this world on how to set right our life physically and spiritually, because otherwise, even if also we have these great teachings, if we are overpowered or overwhelmed by this by my fallen nature or this fallen world, so it's not easy. Otherwise, we are not helping true parents, or we cannot give joy to heavenly parent and true parents. So if we are no, it's no problem if only the kingdom of heaven. But the fact is, when we are working, we work outside, so it is a different environment. While you work inside the church, it is also a different environment. And in the church, of course, you will be pure, physical as well as spiritual. But if you are working outside, you can encounter many vices. It's like an obstacle of your spiritual growth outside, because it is not yet a kingdom of heaven. So we have to fight this for ourself, for the sake of heavenly parent and true parents, because whether we like it or not, we have to fight for our good life. Because working outside, really, it's not also easy. it's not easy to maintain pure life in heart, in mind, in the outside world. So we have to battle our life. We have to fight so that we can at least somehow can get off from the fallen environment. So it is really a, a right time for everyone in this world that we have our true parents who is teaching us this way, this great way, in order for us to really have that strength in energy to purify our physical and spiritual life, our family, our environment. So that's why true mother is in a hurry to give the blessing to all humankind through summit and blessing, as we have already witnessed what's happening in Africa, where true mother wishes to really restore the world as soon as possible, as true mother is still here on this world. So we have to really break through in our everyday life from the fallen world, if we have or we should, because that's why true parents came in order to save all humanity, to save everyone, and to establish a family, to purify a family, and through the blessing that purifies the world from our true parents. So we are living in a great time, but we have to do our part to really resist all the bad elements out there in order for us to help true parents, true mother, purify the world as the blessing continue to spread and expand into the whole world. So I'm so grateful to hear this message. So to the hard work of our national leader, this is a great way for us to be purified every day, to purify our mind every day, because we are living in a world which is not yet a kingdom of God. So it is a great blessing always to have this message in our everyday morning devotion, as well as in the evening devotion. So that is what I can reflect for this moment. So we have to fight to resist bad element. So thank you so much. That's all what I can share.
Thank you so much po, our beloved Mr. Milicio Carias, for sharing your reflection. Yeah, brother and sister, let's do our responsibility and let's support our true mother for their mission. So, and now, brother and sister, we have an announcement from National.
Thank you so much, Brother Gary. Good morning to everyone. Once again, we would like to invite everyone to our Family Peace Festival this Sunday, May 30, 2021, 9 a.m. Manila time. To register, please click the link that you can see on your screen. We would like also to ask everyone to share this information, and you can also invite all your family members and relatives to join us this coming Sunday. Once again, let us all celebrate and show to the world what is really blessed family is. Once again, thank you so much, and let's gather together to to celebrate this wonderful blessing that we receive from Heavenly Parents and True Parents. This coming Sunday, Family Peace Festival, May 30, 2021, 9 a.m. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much po. And now, to lead our closing prayer, may I call on our center leader here in Palawan, Miss Flordelisa Carias.
Please join me in prayer. To our dearest, loving Heavenly Parents, and our victorious true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind, today we are truly grateful and thankful that we had an opportunity to listen to the words of our true parents, to the words of our Heavenly Parents. We pray, Heavenly Parents, that these words could really penetrate in our life of faith, in our daily life, Heavenly Parents. We are truly grateful and thankful for the guidances every day, for the sacrifices that our leaders is always showing us, and to whatever they are doing, Heavenly Parents, for us to be reminded, especially to our national leader and everyone, Heavenly Parents, all the center leaders, all these Chonbo couples, Heavenly Parents, who had really been offering their lives, all these HTM leaders, coordinators, every one of us, Heavenly Parents, who are here in this Heavenly Parents holy community. We are truly grateful and thankful for such wonderful blessing and guidance to us every single day. We would like to really gather our heart once again and offer to you our Jongsong, our condition, as what we have learned for today on how we are going to really build unity, absolute love, absolute faith, and absolute obedience. We are still far, Heavenly Parents, but we would like to really offer to you our heart, Heavenly Parents, together with our family, together with all the people that we are together with our leaders. Heavenly Parents, all of our lacking things, we pray that we could really be able to really repent more and to really take every opportunity to grow up every day together with our family, Heavenly Parents, together with our all these blessed families in the Heavenly Tribe of Messiah areas, Heavenly Parents, where we are really trying to educate. Heavenly Parents, they too are longing and wanting to go back to your most. That is why our greatest gratitude to you every day is that we are here to really help in building the kingdom of what you've dreamed ever since the fall of Adam and Eve. We are truly grateful and thankful, and our words are unexplainable on how grateful we are. We are really grateful and thankful. Thank you so much, Heavenly Parents, for every opportunity, everyday life, everyday blessing. And to our dear brothers and sisters, we may not talk with them every day. We may not see them every single time. But Heavenly Parents, our goal, our determination together with our true mother is the same. on how to really bring education, Heavenly Parents, and salvation also, that our true parents had really been dreaming, and also our Heavenly Parents. Once again, we are truly grateful and thankful for this morning devotion, especially to our Sir Leo Angelo Halo for the guidance, and most importantly, Heavenly Parents, for the words that we have received for today. We pray that all of us can really have this high noon settlement, Heavenly Parents, no matter how difficult the world is in our physical eyes, Heavenly Parents. We pray that we could use our heart to really move, Heavenly Parents, every day. It is not definitely easy, but we would like to really work together with all these blessed families, not only in the Philippines, but around the world. Thank you very much, Heavenly Parents, for such tremendous blessing that you had given to each and every one of us. Thank you for the strength. Thank you for the good health. Thank you for such a very beautiful morning that you had given us today. We would like to sincerely offer everything back to you with a heart of gratitude in behalf of my dear brothers and sisters, elders, leaders in the Philippines and around the world. We would like to really offer this prayer in the very precious name of our true parents, and I'd like to report to you this in our name, Chandra and Flordelisa, as blessed central couple of Chunilguk, Adju, Adju.
Joe. And now let's offer our individual prayer. Thank you so much po, brother and sister, for attending our morning devotion, and see you tomorrow po in the morning again. Then thank you po to our national leader for the internal guidance this morning. Thank you po.
Thank you po, everyone. Salawat. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much po.
Salamat po.
Enel, thank you.
Palawan family.